Hello for kids, this is day 11 of me playing chess every day until I reach the rapid rating of 2500. So here we go. We will play a 10-minute rapid game on chess.com. Let's go. Our opponent is searching and we have the white pieces. I will play e4, controlling the center of course. And what will my opponent do? e5, knight f3, attacking the pawn of course. Now knight c6 is the best move, and this is the most common chess position after the two moves. So what is my opponent thinking? Maybe d6 is okay as well. There is knight to f6, the Russian game, but he decided to play knight to c6, and we have the Ruy Lopez. And this is the classical defense. I like to play c3 now. Now knight f6 is the best move actually. a6, doesn't this blunder a pawn? I guess there is queen g5, forking my queen and the g2 pawn. Maybe I can take actually. Take, queen g5, d4 takes here. What is happening in that position? Maybe queen f3 attacking the pawn is okay, but I will simply play bishop a4. Bishop a4 is still very okay. Nothing wrong with this bishop a4 move, and now I believe bishop c2 is okay, defending the pawn, trying to play d4 in the next move, and this position is very good for me. d6 played, maybe h3 now before I play d4, because bishop g4 would be really annoying to face actually. Now knight to f6 probably the best move, but my pawn is defended on e4 because of my bishop from c2, so I think my position is very good at this point. And my opponent played the move knight to e7. Okay, I will simply castle, followed by d4. I need to play fast, there is no increment in this time format of course, and now d4 is simply the best move. He takes, I take. Bishop b4 is not particularly good, yes. And sometimes there is this move actually. If he takes, I have bishop h7, the Greek gift actually. Maybe this works actually. Yes, this is too complicated for now, so I will simply develop my knight to c3 of course. Maybe he has the idea to play f5 at some point, but f5 looks, yes, f5 on the board, but this looks way too dangerous. Maybe, taking the pawn is probably not considered very okay. Maybe I can push, as I mentioned. What about this endgame? I don't like my position anymore. Maybe I can take the pawn actually and just continue with normal plans. Or I can push now. Excuse me, push. There is knight e5. Then I take, I guess. And then I can... Wait, I have an idea. I can take this. Or no, d5 first. If here I take, and then I take everything here. And then I play queen g5, queen g4. Having some okay position. So I will simply play d5. I think this is a mistake actually. But I kinda like this plan here. I like this move. And then I can take. And this pawn on e5 will be weak. After takes, I take. If he takes, I take back with the bishop. And after knight takes, I have queen g4 with some annoying pressure down the g file. This was my idea. Of course, he probably shouldn't take with the rook actually. Yes, no, queen g4 instantly played. And if he moves the knight, at some point I have bishop h6. Very annoying. Maybe there is knight d6, which should be knight d6 is a very good move. Oh, I missed this, of course. This is a very good resource here. But I think my position is still very, very good. I can develop very quickly. So simply knight e4. And he has some difficult time. Of course, my pawn is hanging here. or at least will be. Wait, what? Queen takes b4? What? This is a free pawn, isn't it? Queen b4? I missed that. What? I will simply take the pawn, of course. What is my opponent doing here? I'm not so sure. Queen takes b4 is a very natural move, but I missed it as well for like 20 seconds. Oh, this was an idea. Of course. Wow. Whew. And now I'm probably dead lost here, right? If I move my rook, then my pawn is hanging. I mean, I guess this is still playable. Or do I sacrifice the rook here? Maybe bishop e3. But if he takes, I take. And everything disappears from the board. So what can I actually do to defend this pawn? Is there like any other move? There is knight here. But then my pawn is hanging. What is this? Maybe... No, the queen defends this square. What about takes? This is probably completely lost as well. Maybe bishop e3 is the best I have right now. Yes, bishop e3 probably. I guess this is very bad, but still. I need to play much faster now. I will just pre-move this. Like, this is everything I can pre-move at the moment, so I think I am. Because this d5 pawn is very strong at this point, but I have an extra pawn, so this is not as bad, losing an exchange. But yes, my opponent is still thinking. This is quite good for me. Maybe he will take... Wow, he is disconnected. He will auto-resign in 30 seconds. What? He has amazing position. Why would... Maybe his internet ran out. And my internet is not good either. But still, he will auto-resign in 10 seconds. But he is back. He is back. Okay, he has 7 minutes and a half left. And my opponent is still thinking. I pre-moved what I think will happen on the board. That means that I will lose 0 time, which is very important. I need to play faster. I'm down 2 minutes on the clock. And he took my bishop. And now, if he takes my rook, then I pre-move. King takes, yes. And this is the resulting position. There is check. Where do I go? Very, very hard question to answer. Maybe to g1, actually. Maybe king g1 is okay, but then here, with some annoying pressure. But he has absolutely nothing there. Oh, there is a rook here. How to deal with this? Maybe king e2 here. King e3. King d3 actually. Well, this is extraordinary. Maybe king e1. But I will simply go to g1. It probably loses on the spot because of rook to f8. But then there is knight to e4 actually, controlling the square. So queen f1 is not as strong as it could be. Yes, I will just go knight e4 right away. Knight e4, controlling the f2 square, which is really, really important at this point. King h2 is the only move in the position. And there is no rook f2. Because the knight controls the f2 square. And this pawn is really close to winning. If I manage to win this pawn, I can just push this pawn all the way through and I win the game. So position is not lost for me yet. Queen e2, okay, attacking this. I will simply go here. Some checks on the diagonal are threatened. Maybe king h8. What do I play next? Maybe here. Wait, knight g3 is really strong in this position after king h8 because the queen, yes, if she goes to f2 I have knight e4 back and draw is absolutely okay in this position for me. I am down an exchange but I have a pawn. Wait, what are you doing, man? This is check. I need to go for this, right? Check. If rook f7 there is a d7 winning, but now I can take this pawn, and this is very interesting that my opponent allowed this. Wait, what is this actually? I now need to concentrate. What is the idea of queen to e1? Rook f1 is an idea. And checkmate here. Okay. So knight g3 is okay. Knight g3 I think is the best move. Controlling the square on f1. I have only 3 minutes left. I need to play faster. I have queen d3 ideas in there, followed by queen d5 checks. And if I... Wait, I have check and here. Wait, this should win the game. Check. Here the queen supports the... So this is bad. I can give this check and I can promote. Wait, what is happening? I have check and then promote. I am winning at this point. I believe I have check and I can promote the pawn on the next move. What is my opponent doing? This will be queen. Wait, what? My opponent allows check and promotion? What is his idea here? Probably he just missed this very strong queen to c2 move. I have only 3 minutes left. I need to play faster at this point. But his king is very unsafe. With this knight coming to f5, this queen coming to f8, and this would be simply checkmate. I can promote now. I will pre-move this, which is check. Check again. If here, I mean, I have check probably. If here, I probably go here. Are there like any checks at this point for my opponent? Not really. I can simply go here. I can go here, followed by this, and this is checkmate actually. Checkmate threat on the board. Maybe even here actually, because the knight is defended, so e5, yes, I go here. And then there is check. King h1. Is there any check? But then this is defended. Can I trade everything into a king and pawn endgame? Probably the answer is yes. Oh, I can just trade queens. Wait, I completely missed that resource, and now I have 2 minutes 40 seconds, which should be enough to win the game. I will take this pawn now, and my opponent should just resign in this position. I have enough time to secure a win. In this position I can push, I can bring my king g4 next, just king g3, h3, h4 maybe, and even if I lose this knight, the position is still winning. Maybe h4, king h4. I have 2 minutes and a half, which should be enough to secure me a win. Takes, maybe knight f3, winning this pawn. Knight f3 here. Maybe b3 is the most straightforward win. And knight a3 should win me another pawn, and then the position is simply lost for my opponent. So my opponent will most likely resign at this point. Check, I can just push the pawn. I mean, I will just go to grab another pawn here. If king to b4, I mean, my position is still completely winning. I will just win everything on the king side as well, and my position is just winning enough. My opponent still fighting on, but I will just push this pawn towards the 8 rank, securing me a win in this position. I can just push now the a pawn, I guess, which is good enough. a8 equals queen, and my opponent resigned in this position, and I got the rating of 2018. Now we will simply analyze the game. You can see this is mate in 7, but I started the game with pawn to e4, securing some control over the center. e5 was played, knight f3, knight c6, and bishop to b5. This is known as the Ruy Lopez or the Spanish game, pressuring the knight, pressuring the pawn, and this is the most common chess opening, I believe. And bishop to c5 was played in the game, but a6 or knight to f6 is considered the best. But okay, bishop c5, the idea is to pressure the f2 pawn, of course. Now c3 is the best with an idea of d4. This is still theory. And now knight to f6 was the best move, but a6 was played on the board. And now taking is the best. And what then? I simply take. What about queen g5? I simply castle. Wow, this is an amazing resource. Castling can d4. The pawn cannot be captured because of this pin here, and my position will be fine. But okay, I played bishop to a4, which is still pretty okay in this position. And after b5, bishop c2, maybe bishop b3 was better. Yes, bishop b3 is better. Just putting this bishop to look to the f7 pawn. But bishop to c2 is pretty logical as well, defending the e4 pawn. And then knight to f6 would not attack the pawn, which is critical in some positions of the game. So my opponent simply developed with d6 with an idea of bishop g4. So I played h3, stopping his idea, trying to play d4 on the next move, of course. And after knight g to e7, I firstly castled, and after my opponent castled as well, I simply striked into the center with the move pawn to d4, which is a great move. Now my opponent took the pawn, which should not be the best move. And now bishop to b6 is the best move indeed. And after knight to c3 simply developing, my opponent had an idea to play f5, which is okay. Maybe bishop on b3 would be better because f5 would never be an idea, of course, because the pawn would be pinned to the king, of course. And now I played d5, which is not the best move. As you can see, bishop to g5 was the best move. What is an idea? Can I take here? No, not really. Bishop b3 firstly, king h7, and knight to d5. Wait, knight to d5. What? This is just too complicated for me, if I'm completely honest. What? Okay, this is too deep for me. And after f5, I simply played d5, striking at the center. And now I traded off everything. And now my position is slightly worse, because after bishop takes f5, I simply took. And now queen to g5, queen to g4, excuse me, was not the best move after b4. This is a very, very nice idea for my opponent. Knight to g3. Wait, I should not even take the pawn after b4. Bishop g5 was the best. Okay, kind of logical. But b4 is simply a free pawn, and I didn't see the follow-up with the move knight to g3. Of course, the pawn on f2 is very weak, and now the rook is attacked. I cannot take the knight because my king is pinned to this pawn, or my pawn is pinned to the king, of course. And I simply played bishop to e3, not the best move either, and this position should be pretty lost for me. Minus 2.3, which should be lost for me. But after king g1, the best move. Now, knight e4 was not the best, but now this is simply a draw, because what? Knight g5, and the position is equal. What about rook f2? Wait, knight g5, I need to calculate this. What? Oh, queen v8. And here, queen takes c7. Of course, the back rank is very weak for my opponent as well. But okay, I played queen to b3 in this position, trying to set up. No, wait. After queen to f2, king h2. Excuse me, what am I doing now? Just even here. Knight e4, queen f1, and queen e2. Now I played queen b3. Of course, the rook cannot go to f2, which is very important. And now I'm simply threatening the move pawn to d6, which would be check, of course. And now the best move for my opponent was to play queen to b5. Oh, wait, what? queen to b5, of course, logical, trying to trade off pieces, but my opponent played h6, which is now winning for me. This was a losing mistake for my opponent. I can play d6 check, and then I can take the c7 pawn, and now after queen e1 was played, I played knight to g3, which is okay. Now I just checked and win the game smoothly from here on. We just traded pieces, and this is very important, not allowing any counterplay. I played b3, very nice move. Of course, a3 cannot really be played, because then I take the pawn with my knight, and this position is completely winning. Then my opponent resigned in few moves. So this was my day 11 game on chess.com, and if you like the video, please consider subscribing to my channel. It would really help me out, and see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.